And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Have you heard of this game? It's quite popular, Seven Wonders, and now today we're going to be talking about the newest expansion for it, Seven Wonders Cities. Now, Cities is another expansion that you certainly, I would not say that you need this expansion, but it adds something. The first expansion was Leaders, and Cities actually has some stuff in it for Leaders, so owning the first expansion can be useful, but this is a much different expansion. I would say this is almost a simpler expansion, a kind of in-your-face expansion. Let's take a look at this expansion. How many times did I say expansion there? Apparently a lot. Okay, the first thing we want to talk about in this game are the new cards that it adds. It has a bunch of black cards, cards with black backgrounds, and you're going to add a certain number of these for the number of players, and then for each of the turns. So you'll add a certain number, like let's say you're playing with 5 players, you would add 5 black cards during Era 1, and Era 2, and Era 3. So you don't know which black cards are in the game, and now each player is going to have 8 cards instead of 7 on their turn. So what do these cards do? Well, they do a variety of things. There's one card in each era that has this little spy symbol on the top of it, or mask, and at the end of the game, that's a wild technology. Well, not really wild. It's a technology that equals something that your neighbor has. We also have these in the game. These are peace or diplomacy. When you take one of these, you get one of the diplomacy tokens that you will put in front of you. During the scoring round of the game, you must play this, and it takes you out completely of diplomacy. So if my friend over here and my friend over here are both attacking, they're not attacking me. I'm out of it. So they attack each other. I can't attack. I can't win any points, but I can't lose any either. Oh, it also gives you a victory point. Here, there's a card that lets me take -1 when I buy anything from my neighbor. That's a pretty good card. This card here gives me 6 coins. It gives each of my neighbors 1 card. 1 coin each. They're pretty happy when I play that. There's some more victory points. This is a unique thing. This means when I play this card, everyone else at the table has to lose a coin. If they don't have a coin to lose, then they're going to take one of these -1 victory point tokens. And there are lots of these minus victory point tokens in the game because there's more than just this ability that makes someone lose his coins. Here's a special card that I can take one of my resources and double it. There's also more warfare cards, more bonus cards, more mask cards, more making people lose cards. And so there's different cards in the game. Here everyone loses a coin for every conquest that they've done. You will pay for the dead you've killed, sir. Here you have... This is a really neat card. When you play this one, you don't have to pay resources to build your Wonder of the World. More victory points, more peace. Look at how awesome that is. Just a huge military powers. And at the end of the game, get points for military. Lose points for military. 8 points! Pretty awesome, huh? And then there's a few new guilds in the game. This one doesn't really give you any points. We'll give you 5. But makes everybody else lose 3 coins. Point for black cards, and a point for victories that your opponents have. There's also a few leaders included in the game if you play with the Leaders expansion. This guy gives you points for black cards. It'll let you play black cards for free, 1 for each round. There's another one of those negotiation piece. She lets you take an extra coin whenever you take coins for things, so that she's an extra way to get money. And there's 2 new civilizations you can play by Xantium, which has a peace symbol in the middle. They can play that. And on the other side, you have 2 for each round. I don't know which one's better. Then there's Petra, which is just cool because it's Petra, even though Indiana Jones did destroy it. Just gives you straight up victory points, but I do like this one here. I like the other side a lot because you can make everybody else lose 2 coins and then 14 victory points. That's pretty cool. The game also comes with a scoring pad that allows you to score all the new things that go on. Well, this is an easy one. This is an expansion that I like. Let's first start talking about the first expansion, Leaders. Leaders is an interesting expansion because it kind of focused how you played the game. Cities is not that way. Cities is one that you can just throw in. I've even taught a new player to play it with this expansion included, and it's not that difficult. And for that one aspect alone, I like this expansion a little better. Cities introduces some more interaction, I think, than the other expansion and leaders did, in the sense that you can make people lose coins. Now, that losing coins can be a big deal, because I found a lot of people play Seven Wonders where they're sitting on the edge of poverty almost the whole time. They sit there with no coins, they get some coins, and then they use those coins to buy the stuff they need. If your strategy is to buy other people's resources and keep your money as low as possible, you got to be very careful, because that strategy is going to be attacked here. And if you don't have the money to pay, taking a victory point loss can be a, quote, big deal. Underline, bold it, because that's the truth of it. So I like that aspect. I like that the spy cards let you take someone else's technology. This game seems to have more about interacting with other people, or even playing the card that gives me money and my neighbor's money. And that is brought out even in the team game. Now, I've played this with leaders and without leaders, and leaders I can take or leave. I know, I'm in the minority there. Most people love leaders. But this one I very much enjoyed. I very much enjoyed the interaction between people. I enjoyed the cards, and I very much enjoyed having 8 cards rather than 7. Woohoo! And in fact, this allows you to play 8 players, but probably not need it. You can play 8 players, you just play with 7 cards a person instead of 8. But it's interesting. I think the black cards add another dimension. Warfare goes up a bit. So all in all, I recommend this highly. I think it's entertaining. I think it's fun. It adds some. There's a team variant included in here where you can play on teams and essentially ignore each other. That's okay. But some of the things I very much like. I like the peace. I like the war. This makes warfare, like I said, more of a thing. There's more interaction. So this, to me, is almost a given. I will always play with this expansion if the other players at the table allow me to, because I think it adds more options, more guilds, more things to each round of the game without adding significantly more rules. And that's something I love to see in expansions.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.